right, good morning, everyone. This morning's webinar is all about creating instructional videos, which is a request that I have gotten on our webinar attendance form many times. So clearly it is a need for many of you. So hopefully today we can meet that need. If you haven't already, go ahead and get logged into your ClassLink portal. I did say to navigate to your Google Drive. We may or may not actually get to that piece today. So whether you do it or not is up to you. But it is kind of important that you are logged into your Fort Worth ISD Google account in order to follow along today, and you'll see why shortly. And then real quick, I'm going to look at our list of participants here. I think everyone has been in with us before. Perhaps I might be wrong about that though. So if you're not familiar with your Zoom features on your toolbar, I'm going to go real fast through this just because I would say at least 99% of the people in here know these already. So if you are not familiar, along the bottom left-hand corner is your microphone feature. So if you click on that, it will unmute your microphone, meaning that we can hear you. You'll know that your microphone is turned on because you will not see that red line through it. So that's kind of important to know. The next one there is your video icon. So if you would love to share your beautiful face with me and everyone else in here, you can turn on your webcam. But if you have 9 a.m. face and you don't want to share it, that's okay. So you can either leave it on or off. It's up to you. I don't care which one you choose there. And then that last one is that we're going to talk about is that chat one. And that's the most important button on your Zoom toolbar today. So your chat feature, when you click on that icon, it will bring up your chat window. It will either put it on the right-hand side of your screen, or it might be what's called a floating window, so you can move it. And in that chat window, that's where we're going to communicate most of our questions and comments today. So as I'm going along, you'll go ahead and type your questions in there, and I keep an eye on that chat pretty well throughout. So as you add a question, I will either stop immediately and answer it, or I might come back to it a little bit later. Just note that any questions that you ask in the chat, I will probably respond to out loud rather than typing an answer to you. So just something for you to know there. All right, and let's talk about our agenda today. First off, do I need to introduce myself? Looking back at the list of people, I think everybody here knows me. My name is Kelly Cheatham. I am a digital learning specialist for Fort Worth ISD. I work with many of your schools. I might even have a few people in here who are not from my schools, but that's awesome. With all of my webinars, please feel free to share them out. If you know other teachers who would love to have this information, I'm happy to provide these webinars for anybody who'd like to attend. So feel free to share those links out with other people. I'm not offended by that at all. All right, so back to our webinar agenda today. It's kind of packed. So again, I might be a little ambitious about what we can get through. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just your straight webcam videos. So those are videos just of your face. And we're going to focus mostly on the programs that are bolded here. So we're going to talk mostly about that computer camera icon that you have or your application that's already loaded on your computer. So that's an easy way to do it, but we'll also touch on how you could do this with a mobile device. And then real briefly, we're just going to talk about Flipgrid. I am not going to actually show you the Flipgrid interface and get into that today because we have an entire webinar dedicated to Flipgrid tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So I do have it in there just because Flipgrid does both of these things. But like I said, we'll talk more about it at 2 o'clock tomorrow when we really explore all of the cool features of Flipgrid. Okay. So webcam videos, we'll talk mostly about that camera application, briefly about how you can use your mobile device, and really briefly about Flipgrid there. And then we're going to focus most of our time today on screencast videos because I believe that's the biggest need right now. Just kind of reading into some of the questions that I've received from people. So there are actually 2 extensions that I use and love, and we're going to talk about those today mostly. There's something called Screencastify, and then another one called Loom. And then we will also briefly touch on how now Flipgrid has that feature built in as well. And then the last thing, if we have time, we'll also discuss how you could use a program like Zoom or Google Meet to create instructional videos as well, because you have that option to share your screen and then record those meetings. So that's another thing that we can briefly discuss as well, assuming, of course, that we have time. So again, I'm probably pretty ambitious about time, but kind of bear with me. It dawned on me this morning, when I woke up, so not that long ago, that it would be helpful for you guys to have resources to walk away with. And so this morning when I got to work at 8 a.m., I started putting together additional slides that I'm going to share with you. Now they're not 100% done. There's a few more resources I want to add to them. So what I'm going to do at the end today, you will fill out my webinar attendance form. And in that, it does ask for your email address. And so later on today, I will email you the link to this presentation. That way you have access to the extra resources that I'm adding. So you don't have to write all those down, in other words. Okay. So just kind of a note there. And I am focusing on just the bolded ones in my extra resource slides. Like I said, we'll get to Flipgrid and we'll hit it big on Friday. So hold off on that one. All right, so with that said, are there any questions before I begin? And really, when I ask if there are any questions, it's really just because I need to pause and take a drink every time. So there's your helpful hint. But also, it's great to kind of make sure I cover those questions. All right. So no questions, and I get a chance to get a drink. Let's get started. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is that computer camera application. And so it's going to depend on what kind of a device you're on right now, but most laptops that have a webcam built into them, which in this day and age, it's most laptops in general, they do have a camera application built in. So in my little search bar at the bottom here, I'm just going to type in camera. Okay, and notice that that is an application. All of our Fort Worth ISD Chromebooks have cameras as well, so your students also have this ability. All right, and so when I open that, oh, I was afraid this was going to happen. Okay, so the problem, let me see what happens when I turn my camera off on Zoom, if it will work. Oh, okay, good. All right, so sorry, but you're not gonna be able to see my face right now. I'll turn my camera back on when we're done here. I bet this is gonna happen a lot today. The problem I just had was that Zoom was using my camera, and so therefore the camera app couldn't use it as well. All right, so I opened up my camera app, okay? I have that ready to roll. And now recording is really, really simple, okay? So I have two different options on the right-hand side of my camera app, which if you're using a Fort Worth ISD laptop, your camera app should be very similar because you should also have Windows 10. And so the option I'm on right now is the little video camera. So this means I'm going to be recording video. I could also switch it though, just to take a picture. So if I click on photo, now I'm just taking a static picture there. Okay, in this case, obviously we're talking about instructional videos, so video would be important. So I could put it on video, and at this point, all I need to do is click on that icon, and now it is going to start recording. I know it's recording because I have that red dot. I have the little stop button. I even have the option to pause it if I needed to pause and do a set change or a clothing change, whatever I needed to do. I could pause it and now unpause it to come back. But this is a really simple way to record just videos of yourself. If you have a whiteboard at home and you want to show your whiteboard and do your lesson that way, awesome, go for it. So your camera app is built in, it's free to use, super simple, and we get it all done and recorded, and all I have to do is hit stop. Okay, and now this video lives in my camera roll, okay, and I can access it. I believe. Nope, not yet. Okay, I'm going to click on my camera roll here. I can see it all and watch it all, super simple. And then I can go ahead and I can share it directly from here, okay? So anytime you see that share button, I can share it to some of the apps that are already installed. It looks like I only have OneNote and Twitter installed, but I could get other apps in my app store, or I can find it in the folder where it saved it. So this is the real question, is where did it go? I bet it went to my photos. It did, it went to my pictures. Okay, and now I have it on my computer. And so the next step for me would just be to upload it to whatever application I'm sharing it with my students in. So I could upload this video directly to Google Classroom. I could upload it to my Google Drive and then share it through Google Classroom. Wherever you're sharing your videos, I could upload it to YouTube. So a lot of teachers don't know this, but with your Fort Worth ISD teacher account with Google, you get a free YouTube channel. Like you have a YouTube account already created for you. So you could add all of these videos to your YouTube account really easily. And this is not in my agenda, but real fast, I'll show you that. Okay. So all I'm going to do is open a new tab here and go to YouTube. All right. You're going to want to make sure, I'm already logged in, but you're going to want to make sure you're logged in. You should have a place to log in your top right-hand corner. And when you log in, you just want to make sure you log in with your @teachers.fwisd.org account. Okay. I'm realizing I can add this resource or some information about how to upload to YouTube into our slides that I share later, so you'll have that for you. But super simple, you get logged in, and once you're logged in, all you have to do is click, again, it's a plus button, shocker with Google, right? So click on the little plus button, upload a video, and once it thinks here, okay, now it's asking me to choose that file. So I would just need to go select file, and it was saved in my camera roll. So under pictures and camera roll, and here it is. So all I have to do now is upload that, and that is going to automatically push it to YouTube, and it will give me this little window where I can put in some information. But when I'm ready to share it with my students, here's that link. Okay. So like I said, I'll add some information about how to put it on YouTube to those slides, but that's another easy way to share things with your students, get them on YouTube and then push them out that way. All right. And in fact, that's how all of my videos are accessible to you. Every webinar I've recorded, every video tutorial I've made, they're all uploaded to YouTube, and then I put them on my site from YouTube. So just kind of a helpful hint there. All right. Just so you know, if you are on a Fort Worth ISD device, you should also have a video editing program called Movie Maker. Okay. If you're on a Mac, you have iMovie. So either of those, if you needed to edit your video in any way, you can use one of those programs. We're not going to get into those. However, I do have tutorial videos already put on the slides that I've created for you about how to use Movie Maker in iMovie. But if you needed to do things like remove a part of your video, or you know, add in other videos, or anything that you can think of that you would need to do. You could add music, you could add intros, things like that. You could do all of that in Movie Maker or in iMovie. Okay. All right, I see a question in our chat. When videos are on YouTube, are those visible to everyone, or can only certain people view them? It depends on how you set it. So I wonder if I can still edit this, because I already got out of that window. I cannot. Okay, so I'll do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag that file in one more time. So I'll go through these steps real fast then. All right, so first thing it asks you to do when you upload a video on YouTube is to name it. So this is just my sample video. I'm going to remove it later. You can give it a description. You can even upload a thumbnail. So that's the picture that will pop up when people are searching for your video. You can put it in a certain playlist. So I have a playlist for my video tutorials, a playlist for my e-learning webinars, etc. So you can make a new playlist to put it in. Okay. You do want to say, if you're making an instructional video, then you want to say that yes, it's made for kids. Okay, that's important. And then you're going to click next. No, I have to say this one is not made for kids. So click next. I don't do anything in video elements. If you really want to get into that, you could. But where you're going to choose who can see it is on that third step, visibility. Now you have some choices. You can make it public so that everyone can see your video. You can make it unlisted, meaning that they have to have the direct link to see your video. Or you can make it private, and then you physically have to say, these 4 people can see my video. So I make all of mine unlisted. And then as soon as I share them on my site, or if I send the link to someone, they're able to access it that way. But it's not something that people can search for on YouTube. So hopefully that makes sense there. So you would just choose in this window, and then as soon as you hit save, it will process your video, and then it will be available. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to real quick before I forget. I'm going to delete these. Okay. All right, let's look at our next thing. So that's just with your camera app. Are there questions about your camera app before I move on? That one's pretty simple. And again, it's really more for showing your face. So your focus is more on your face. All right, I don't see any popped in yet, so I'm going to go ahead and start closing out of my camera. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about real quick, how would you use a mobile device to record a video? So all of your iPhones or smartphones or tablets, things like that, they all have cameras nowadays, right? And so you could record your video either with your front-facing camera, so it's looking at you, or your, I don't know if it's called a back-facing camera, I've never actually used a word for it, or the one that faces the other way. So you could use it more as like a dock cam. So if you don't have a dock cam at home right now, you could be using your phone or your iPad camera for that. So you would sit and you would record whatever you're choosing to record there. And then all you would have to do is upload it to Google Drive, or you can even upload it directly to YouTube on your phone. So super simple there. You need to either download the Drive app or the YouTube app, either one, depending on which way you're going to go. And get logged into your Fort Worth ISD teachers account. Again, anytime you are logging in with your Google account, it's at teachers.fwisd.org. So that's in our chat right there. All right, so it's your first dot last at teachers.fortworthisd.org. Okay, and then once you get logged in, you'll have the ability to upload directly to your Drive within the app itself. So again, I can put instructions on how to do that in our slides. I can't show you that right now because I did not turn on the program that allows me to cast my phone image to my computer. But that's something I can certainly throw in our slides if you'd like information about that. Both how to upload from your phone to YouTube and your phone to Drive. So I'll create some videos. All right. And then on Flipgrid, so Flipgrid is a really awesome resource that is all about video creation, and it's both your video creation as the teacher, and it also allows your students to submit videos back to you. So it does a lot of things, but you could record your instructional videos just with your face. So in this case, this is a webcam video example, just with your face directly through Flipgrid, and then share it with your students through Google Classroom. And then Flipgrid now just opened up the capability to screencast as well. And so you can also create a video of your screen directly through Flipgrid. Okay, so Flipgrid has that as a brand new feature. Like I said, we're going to talk in depth about the features and functions in Flipgrid tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So we're going to kind of leave it there, but it is another option for you. All right. I went through those pretty fast, but what questions do you have about webcam videos? Creating them, sharing them, anything along those lines? All right, oh, there we go. Yes, how do you upload them to Google Classroom? Okay, so in Google Classroom, let me open a new tab. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so when you're in your Google Classroom and you are creating a new assignment under classwork, okay, when you hit that create button and then assignment, down in this attachment section, so that add button, you could add directly from YouTube. So if you have uploaded that video to YouTube, you now have a link from YouTube. All you have to do is go here and you can use the URL here. So here's my one video. I want this link in my classwork. I can paste that link. And now my students can get that video directly from YouTube. So that's one way. But if you have not uploaded it to YouTube, perhaps you have it on your Google Drive. So if you chose to upload that video to your Google Drive, all you would do is select Google Drive. Okay, I probably have something in my recent. No, I do not. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So here's a video that I recorded that is in my Google Drive. So all I would do is select it and add it. And now my students can see my video as well. Okay. And then your third option, if it's just saved on your computer, so maybe I use that camera app to record it, I can upload that as a file from my device, and I would just navigate to my pictures, to my camera roll, and then select that video that I just recorded. Okay, and upload. So 3 different ways there. You can take it from YouTube, you can take it from your drive, or you can upload directly from your computer. This, of course, is going to take a while. Okay, and all you'd have to do is then hit assign, and now your students can see those videos. Sure. All right, let's dive into the fun part. So I think this is probably the reason why you're in this webinar. Let's talk about those screencasting options. Now, kind of disclaimer, I used to use Screencastify as my only screencasting application. And I actually switched recently to Loom. That's more of a personal reason though. My microphone wasn't working very well with Screencastify, but I don't have any problems with Loom. So currently all of my video tutorials are recorded in Loom, but they do the same exact thing. So most teachers use Screencastify. That's the one we're going to focus on mostly today. So Screencastify and Loom are both what we call Chrome extensions. So we have to actually install them to our Chrome browser. So that's step 1. When I give you the slides later on, I have the link to that Chrome extension already on those slides. So all you'll have to do is click here and then open the link, and it will take you directly to that actual extension in the Chrome store. So you don't have to have this link right now. If you do want to follow along with me currently though, I will put it in our chat. So if you really want to follow along, there's the very long link to the Screencastify one. But like I said, I will send these out later. All right, so that link will take you to our Chrome web store. The first thing you need to do is add this extension to Chrome. Okay, and yes, you want to add extension. And what it's going to do is it's going to install it. And then in just a second, it's going to add a little icon up in the, yep, there it is. It's going to add a little icon up in my toolbar up here. Okay. And so this little icon is the Screencastify icon. You're going to get familiar with that pretty quickly. All right. And so now it's installed. I don't need this window anymore. The next step is to go ahead and click on it. And it's going to open up a new window, and it's going to prompt you to sign in with your Google account. Now, the cool thing about Screencastify is that it syncs with your Google Drive, so all of your videos are automatically saved in your Google Drive. So that's super helpful if you think about sharing to your Google Classroom. It's really easy because they're already in your Drive to pull from. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with Google. And again, we want to use our Fort Worth ISD Google account. It's already going to sense mine, so I don't even have to do anything. If it does prompt you for a login, reminder, it is at teachers.fwisd.org, but your same password. And then it's going to ask you some questions here. So you want to make sure that you have enabled both your camera and your microphone. And I would enable your drawing and annotation tools as well. Okay, just to have an extra feature there. And then you'll click next. And yes, I know that's scary, but yes, you can allow this. And all right, so it's going to bring you to the screen. This is really cool because it does have some resources for you right on this screen once you've signed up and set all of those different settings there. Now, if you need more information about how to make your first recording, they have that information for you. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and add this to our slide later. Okay. All right, now we are ready to roll. So I don't need these resources right now. Let's get started. So to record our first video, we're already logged in, we're already set up. I'm ready to record. We're going to go over to that icon in our toolbar, and we're going to click on it one more time. And this time, instead of opening up a whole new tab, it just opens up this little menu. And it's asking me, what do I want to record? I typically choose my entire desktop, and I have also, like, this is what I choose in Zoom. This is what I choose in Google Meet, anything that I use. The cool thing about recording your entire desktop is that if you need to show something on another window or in another program, you can do that all in one video. So I can bounce back and forth between Active Inspire and Google Chrome and I don't know what else you would be using, your snipping tool and whatever else you might be using, all within one video because it's recording everything you do on your desktop. So that's kind of a helpful one. If you wanted to only show what's happening in this particular tab, and you're only going to navigate within this tab in your Google Chrome, you could choose browser tab there. Or the last option, you actually have the option of doing just your webcam. So that would go back to our first part of our webinar this morning. You could also do that in Screencastify, and it's just going to show your camera. Okay, so I'm going to choose desktop. Okay, you want to make sure your microphone is on. It's going to test it right now. I can tell it's working because I see this little bar showing every time I speak, it moves. Okay, and then you can choose whether you want to embed your webcam or not. If you keep it off, your students won't see your face. If you turn it on, you'll get a little rectangle, and in that rectangle, your students will see your face while you're showing things on the screen. Okay. And then it will prompt you what webcam do you want to use, what microphone do you want to use. You should probably only have one option. Right now I have like a headset on, and so that's why it's giving me lots of options there. You do have some additional options if you click show more options. So some different things you can do here. You can enable or disable a countdown. I like to have the countdown because it gives me a chance to kind of get my bearings before it starts actually recording my video. I like to have my drawing tools turned on just in case I need them as I'm recording. I don't typically use them, but it's just nice to have them there. System audio, I'm not even sure what that one does, to be honest. I always leave it off. And then if you want to see what your webcam looks like, you can show that preview and it will show you that. You don't necessarily need it though. Okay, and then when you're all set up, you have everything the way you want it. All you have to do is click record. Okay, so it's going to give me a screen that tells me, what do you want to record? So again, you probably will only have one option here unless you have some sort of external monitor hooked up, which I do. So you'll probably only see screen one. You will choose it and you'll click share. All right, and now we're going to get our countdown. Okay, and so currently I am recording. So everything I'm saying is being recorded in this video. It does pop up this little message along the bottom. I like to hide it so that it's not in my video. Okay, so that's gone. Notice that my little webcam is over here. So because I turned on my webcam, now my students can see my face as I am recording their instructional video. In our department, we're told that we need to have our camera on in our videos. That's something that they've suggested to us for any videos that we're officially making for our department, just because it helps people put a human face to what you're saying. And I think the same goes for videos you're making for your students, especially given the times because they cannot see us on a regular basis. It's not a great substitute, but it is an opportunity for them to see our faces. So I think it's important. I would leave it on. But just note that you can resize this. So if this is too big, it's taking up a lot of space. Oh, I can't make it smaller. Never mind. I can make it bigger though. So you can resize it. You can also move it. So a lot of times I'll be in the middle of a video and I need to click on something in this bottom right-hand corner. So I'll have to move my video and then go back down and click on it. So it is something that you can move around and put in different places on your screen if it's getting in the way. You'll also notice I turned on those drawing tools before. So I get this little toolbar at the bottom. So as I am, talking through maybe this presentation here, okay, oh, of course, it's going to hide those tools now. So let me back out of that. Where did my tools go? There they are. Okay, so as I'm talking through maybe a resource or something along those lines, and I want to highlight something important, I can use my pen, okay, and I can, circle things on my screen and draw some arrows. I'm not very good at drawing with my mouse, as you can see, but I have that ability because I turned on those drawing tools, and it is kind of limited. There's not a whole lot you can do with the drawing tools here, but I do have the little pen and the little eraser. So some different things you can do. So if I needed to, model a math problem, I could pull up a brand new blank slide that's white and use my little pen tool to draw it out. So if I needed to do that, I certainly could. And then on our little toolbar at the bottom, we also have the options to pause our recording. So now it's not recording what I'm saying right now until I hit play again. So if I need to like pause and, you know, change screens or do something, I can do that real quick and then resume. Okay. If I'm on the pen tool and I need to get back to just my pointer tool, I have that option there. I can also change whether I want my students to see my cursor. I can hide it. So now it's going to go away when I don't move my mouse, right? But as soon as I move it again, it comes back. I'm going to take that off. I can also highlight my clicks. So if I want to show them step by step, first step, you click here. Here, maybe, is it on? I turned it off. Okay. First step, you click here. Notice I get that little red circle. So if you really want to highlight where your mouse is, you have that option as well to highlight those clicks. Okay. You can also turn on what's called focus mouse, and so it will give it like a little spotlight. So that's also another way to have your students focus in on certain clicks that you're taking. All right, so that's all in your tools menu. You can hide it if you want it to go away and like have your full screen back. But the cool thing about this is that you can go in and you can pull up, I'm not logged in, of course, give me a second, but you can go in and you can pull up your Pearson textbook, right? And you can go through and, you know, model in that Pearson textbook how you want them to do some close reading or whatever it might be. You can pull up your STEM scopes. You can pull up your path lasers, whatever instructional resources you're using, because it's recording my entire desktop. I could pull those up. I can even pull up my Active Inspire. Okay, it's recording my entire desktop. So if I have already created some different things in Active Inspire, I could easily share those with my students by screencasting and then sharing that video to them. Right, so I think you get the point here, but I could pull this up and do my entire lesson in Active Inspire as well. All right, so I do see your question about how to start from the beginning, Shelly. I promise I'll get there in just a second. I want to show you how to finish out a video. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my regular screen. Okay, so let's say I'm now done recording my video. To stop it, it's real simple. If you happen to have your toolbar down here, you could just pause it and then we can stop from there. But the easy way to stop it is to go back up into your toolbar at the top. You'll find that Screencastify icon and you'll click on it. Okay, it's going to bring up this little menu and all you have to do is click on stop. All right, also in this menu, notice that you could pause it, you could restart your video, or you could throw it away right from here. Okay, but in this case, I want to stop it. All right, as soon as you hit stop video, it's going to bring you to the editing screen. Okay, so it's the first time that I'm in because I just reinstalled it. It will allow you to take a tour. If it's your first time in, you may want to do that tour. I'm going to skip it for now though. Okay, so in this screen, you have the ability to trim your video. So trimming it is really easy. If we don't like the first 5 seconds, all I'm going to do is move my scissors, and anything that is to the left of my scissors right now is being cut off. So those first 18 seconds are cut out of my video. I can do the same thing at the end. If I don't like the last, 10 seconds of my video, and you'll click on it, I can cut out the last 10 seconds and then save that trim. Now you cannot cut the middle of your video using Screencastify. You'd have to use some other resources. If you're interested in that and have questions about how to trim out the middle of your video, send me an email and I'm happy to kind of walk you through that process. But right within Screencastify, you can trim the beginning and the end. Okay, so super simple there. Once it finishes here, I'll show you the rest. Okay. While it's trimming, I can't click on them, but we can look at them. On the right-hand side, you have all of your different options for sharing your video. Okay. So as a reminder, it automatically saves your video to Google Drive. So that's a really, really cool feature. And I'll show you in your Google Drive where you can find it in just a second. But from here, you can copy that shareable link. If you just wanted to email this to someone real quick, that's probably the easiest way, is to copy the link. Okay, it's now copied to my clipboard. I would open up my email and paste that link into my email and send that. And then the person that receives that email can just click on the link and it'll open right to my video. I have some other options within my Google Drive for how people see it. So right now it's unlisted, meaning that they have to see the link. Okay, I can make it public or private. So I have some different options there. I also, here's the option to view it on Drive. So I'm going to click there so we can see where it went. It's going to open up that file in my Drive. Let's see if I can click out of it. It's not going to let me. Okay, so that will open it directly in my Drive, but to show you where it is, I'm going to have to actually close out. So I'm going to go back to my Drive here. Now so I like to hide things in my Drive so it's all nice and pretty. In fact, the fact that Meet Recordings is still here bugs me. I'm going to have to move that. But for you will have a new folder created right on my Drive. So that's like the landing page here that says, I think, Screencastify. Mine is hidden. I just moved that folder into another folder. So here it is inside of archived folders for me. But you'll get a folder that says Screencastify, and inside of there, it will save every single video you've ever recorded in Screencastify. So automatically, you don't have to do anything special. So that's a really cool feature about Screencastify. The other things you can do right from the screen, notice that you can push it right to Google Classroom right here. Because you're logged into your Fort Worth ISD teacher account, all you have to do is click Share to Classroom. It's going to prompt you to choose the classroom. It's going to prompt you to choose how you want that to be created. So is that an assignment? Is it a question? Is it just an announcement? Or is it a material? Okay, and then when you hit go, it will bring up, like this window should look familiar here. It will bring up this assignment window. And then you're just going to set all your details and then click on post. So sharing to classroom is super simple right from here. You also have the option right here to publish to your Fort Worth ISD teacher YouTube account. So again, same thing. It brings up this little window. You can tell it what kind of video you want it to be, the description, and then upload it right from here. Okay, so this is where I would probably go unlisted, by the way. All right, so super simple there. And then there are some more share options if you're interested. Quick note, don't use send an email here, because it's going to try to send it from your Gmail account, and your Gmail account is not something we can access. So it's not going to work. Okay. And then our last options here, we can download this video. So you could just download it regularly. And that's going to download, I believe, as like a Screencastify file. I don't remember exactly what format it's in. I guess we can find out. Okay, it's in a web file. So when you open it, it will open it back up in the web browser. That's not something that's easy to share though. So that's not the file type I would choose. Instead, I would export it as an MP4. Okay, and then it will save it as that MP4 file type. So if you wanted to save it and share it out, that makes it accessible to most people. You could just export the audio if you wanted to. So this might be a way to, if you needed to do like read aloud, so you wanted to read all of the information on a slide, you could do it using Screencastify, and then the picture at that point doesn't matter. It's only the reading that matters. So you could export just the audio, and then you could use that. You could insert that back into Google Slides. So that's kind of an advanced kind of tip there. If you're interested in that, I can create a video tutorial for it and send that to you. That would be a cool one to do. So I'm going to do that anyways. All right, and then the last one, this is one of my favorites. I like to use I like to call this GIF. People call it GIF, but I'm a GIF fan. So I like to export the animated GIF. And what it'll do is it will take that video and make it auto loop. So sometimes I'll add those into like my Google Slides to show them the steps for doing something in a quick and easy to watch format. So a GIF is just a moving picture, if you've never heard of them before, but I will use them a lot of times as I'm creating like educational materials in Google Slides. So lots of options there. Okay, and that all is available to you because you're a teacher during COVID times. So quick note about Screencastify. They have made all of their unlimited or paid features, they're typically paid, free and available to you as teachers. And right now, it's only free through April 30th, but in their blog, they say they will go ahead and extend that if needed. And it looks at this time like it's going to be needed. So while they say April 30th, they'll likely be extending that even longer. Okay. All right, so I've gone through all the steps. I did have a request to show how to start a video from the beginning. So real quick, I'm going to do that. By the way, I can close this now because it automatically saves it to my Google Drive. One thing I didn't talk about real fast is how to title it. So just like any other Google Doc, Google Slide, any sort of Google product, you can title it just by clicking up in that title up at the top and then retyping. Okay, and then when you click off, now that's the title of it. All right, so I'm going to close that. It's automatically in my drive, so we didn't lose it, I promise. And now let's start again. So I'm ready to record my video. I want to get started. All I need to do is go up in my toolbar all the way at the top, and I'm going to find that Screencastify icon. And when I click on it, it's going to bring up my recording menu. And now I need to choose the type of video I'm going to make. As I talked about before, I typically use desktop just so I have some flexibility in the different things I can show them. I can bounce back and forth between programs and tabs and things like that. But you do have the option just to do this one tab in my Google Chrome or to only show my webcam. All right. And then you could choose more options if you'd like, but when you're ready, it's super simple. You just hit record. As a reminder, it is going to ask you what screen you want to record. This happens in Google Meet as well. So when you get this screen, you want to click on screen 1, so anywhere within that, and click on share. And it's going to count down, and as soon as I get that beep, now we're recording live. Okay. All right. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and actually throw that video away. So to stop my video, as a reminder, I just click back up on my Screencastify icon. I'm going to actually throw it away. I don't want that video. Okay. All right. So that's Screencastify in a nutshell. Now, it's impossible for me to go over every single thing that you need to know about Screencastify. Again, I suggest you click around. Can't hurt to click on things. So if you're wondering, what does this do? Click on it. And then like I said, I do have some additional resources for you. I've talked about Fried Technology in a couple of my other webinars, but they are a private consulting firm that talks about educational technology. And we actually in Fort Worth ISD have a contract with them. And so I love their things, but they have a whole video about using Screencastify. Now, this video was created before the COVID crisis, so I don't know that it talks about some of those unlimited features that we have now because all of those paid features are free, but it'll get you the basics. They also did an entire webinar about using Screencastify. So the first video here is shorter and just goes over kind of the basics. The second video is a recording of their webinar and I think it's over an hour long. So just kind of keep that in mind. But like I said, I will share this with you and add some more resources to it before I do that. All right, so I'm going to pause. What questions do you have about Screencastify? Okay, so how do I pull up my tools again if I hide them by accident? So I'm going to record again. All right, so if I hide my tools here on accident, okay, so first off, I notice that as I hover, before I click on it, it says Alt+T. So my first attempt after I hide my tools, okay, is going to be to use Alt and T, and it does work. So on my keyboard, as soon as I hid them, I used Alt, and then I held down Alt and clicked or pressed on T, and it came back. But earlier on, it also came back for me. So every once in a while, it'll just pop up again. So if it goes away, even if I hide them, sometimes when I click around, it'll come back. So just kind of keep that in mind. It might just pop up again, but again, Alt, oops, it'd be good if I held down the right key. Alt+T is the shortcut there. Okay. All right, I'm going to discard this video one more time. Okay, if there are no further questions about Screencastify, I am going to show you one more program. Again, Screencastify is probably the most commonly used one. Right now, all of their features are free, which is awesome. But like I said, I personally don't use Screencastify anymore just because it doesn't work with my mic for whatever reason. So I found better luck using another program. So if you, for whatever reason, aren't finding luck in Screencastify, let's talk about Loom. Okay, Loom is the same idea. It's a Chrome extension. So again, I'm going to share these slides with you so you have this link right there. But I will also paste it in our chat if you want to follow it right now. Okay. Oh, yes. So Jeanette, Screencastify is certainly available even after the COVID crisis. And in fact, they just released an update within the past couple of months, I think, that enhanced their free tools. So a lot of the tools that it has in the program itself are available in the free version as well. So right now during our crisis, you have access to the paid tools as well. And so it doesn't have a lot of the limitations. For example, in the free version, so post-COVID, in the free version, you can only record videos that are a maximum of 5 minutes. Okay, so that's one of the limitations there. But currently, because we have all the paid features, you have unlimited recording time. So some of those little features will disappear after COVID, but it looks like we're going to be in this situation for quite a while. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. Yes, awesome. No, it's a great tool. And people always say, but it's only 5 minutes. Well, here's the thing. Your kids can't watch a video that's longer than 5 minutes long anyways. So perhaps consider only making 5-minute videos to start with. All right, so back to Loom here. I clicked on that link in my slides. It brought me back here. This should look familiar. So this time again, we're going to add it to Chrome. Okay, and add extension. And it's going to do the same thing. So once it installs down here, we'll see that pop up in a second. Okay, so it's downloading it. Oh, it didn't even pop up down here. It was so fast. And it will put it up in my toolbar at the top. And this time we're looking for the icon that looks like this. On my toolbar, it's red. Over here, it's black. I don't know why. Okay. But in my toolbar now, oh, I can't record on this page. Let me pull out of that. All right, so it's not even going to prompt me to log in. I was hoping that if I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, it would do that. Unfortunately, it's not. There it is. Okay, I don't know why it did that. All right, so when you click on the Loom, it should bring you to the login screen, not what it just did a second ago. And notice that again, we have some options here. So I can sign in with Google, and that's probably the route I would use always. So if I click on sign in with Google, okay, again, it's going to prompt me which Google account you want to choose your Fort Worth ISD one. And because I'm already logged into my apps, it should automatically log in. I shouldn't have to enter a password. Okay. And now this is what the recording screen looks like for Loom. So the first thing it's asking is, what do I want to share? So this is that same option before of embedding your webcam that we had in Screencastify. It's the same idea. Do I want my picture to show up? So if I select this first one, screen and cam, I'll have that little circle this time with my picture in it. I have the option of just doing my screen. So instead, it's just going to show a photo of me. The default is just the first letter of my first name, but you can change that. Or I can do, again, just my camera only, and that's the opposite of screencastifying or screencasting. So that goes back to using your camera app. Okay. So I like to do screen plus cam. All right. And now the next thing we can choose here, do I want my full desktop or just the current tab? Again, I typically choose full desktop because I want that flexibility to bounce between programs. All right, but again, you do have that option to just show what's in this tab. Okay, you want to make sure that your microphone audio is turned on, and I know it's working because I see that line bouncing as it's detecting my microphone. You have some further options, just like with Screencastify, if you click here. Okay, you can tell it what camera to use, what microphone to use, and then some other things down here. So again, you have a countdown option, you have some menu options. So that's that menu right there. I can turn it on and bring it back, or I can make it disappear. I'm going to make it disappear because that annoys me every time it's on. So, and then you can use your photo for your screen only. I'm not actually sure what that feature does, so I'm going to leave it on. All right, and then when you're all ready, It's not letting me scroll down, so I'm gonna have to hide them. All you have to do is click on start recording. Again, it's gonna prompt you what screen do you wanna use. So these steps are very similar. And share. And now here's my countdown. The cool thing that I like about Loom is that if you realize, oh my goodness, I'm not ready yet, you can go ahead and click and it will pause your countdown. And then I can click again and it will resume. But oh, I'm not ready. Click to pause and then resume. All right, and now I'm officially recording. My countdown's over, so it is recording everything I'm doing. Again, I can hide this little bar down here so it doesn't show up in my video. Just like before, I can drag my webcam picture around within my screen. And then I also have the option here of resizing, but the resizing looks a little different. So I have some presets. I can make myself really big or nice and small in the corner. Okay. One of the things that I don't necessarily like about Loom is that my webcam image will only pop up on this particular window. So as soon as I change tabs, oh, no, it sticks there. As soon as I change programs, what other program do I have open? Active Inspire. Okay, so it's still recording my screen, but notice that my webcam is not appearing on the screen anymore. So something to kind of realize is that your webcam won't be there as you change screens. All right, I'm gonna bring it back though. Okay, but it works just like the last one. I can click through, I can demo things. I could pull up something like classroomscreen.com, which if you're not aware of this, it's a web-based resource, it's free. Once it loads here, okay, it has all sorts of things on here, timers and things like that. It's gonna take a very long time to load, so it's not very effective right now. But you could go in here and you can draw. So here's a whiteboard. So I can go in here and say, you know, here's how to model 1/3 plus, I don't know, 4/3. Woo. Okay, and I could model that on my whiteboard. And this is called, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, classroomscreen.com. We do have a video about this on our EdTech website if you're interested in learning more about classroomscreen.com and how you can use that in something like Google Meet or, and in this case, in a screencasting video. Okay, but again, it's recording everything on my screen. So as I click around, it's recording all of this. And then when I am all done and ready to stop my video, it works just like Screencastify. I'm going to go back up to my little icon and click that icon one more time. This time, instead of prompting me with a little menu, it automatically stops it when I click on it. So just something to note. And then this is the editing menu it brings up. Okay, so in here, okay, to rename my video, the name is underneath. It works the same way. All I do is click and I can call this, right, whatever I need to call it. Up on the right-hand side, I get a shareable link. Now with Screencastify, the link is a Google link because it automatically saves things to my drive. Loom does not save to your drive. It saves within the Loom interface itself. So the link is a Loom link, not a Google link. So something to kind of keep in mind there. But you still have some of those same options about how you want your link to appear, how you want it to share, things like that. You could add a password to your video. But I don't typically share directly from Loom. When I record in Loom, what I do is I download the video. So that's right here. And then I'll upload it to my YouTube channel. So download and then upload to YouTube. You do have the capability within Loom to trim your video. So it works just like Screencastify. If I click on trim, okay, I get a little trim video screen and I would just start trimming and I'm gonna choose what parts of my video to trim. Again, I can trim off of the front, I can trim off of the back. I don't know that I can trim the middle. Let's see. Oh, it looks like I can. So I could trim out the middle in Loom, which is a nice little advantage. And all I would do is choose in red the section I don't want to have in my video, and then I'll click on remove. Okay. It lets me preview it before I publish it, but then when I'm ready, I'll just publish my changes. It'll take some time to think, but once it's done thinking, now that section has been removed from my video. Okay. All right. And then I don't know what else there is to show you on this screen, just that if I ever needed to get back to a video that I recorded in Loom, when you click on that Loom icon, okay, I think we can go, no, maybe not. Okay, I lied. It looks like you have to go to loom.com to find them. But when you go to Loom, you have My Videos at the top. And this is where your library of videos is. So instead of them being saved to your Google Drive, they save directly to the Loom website, but you can access them there. Like I said, though, I download them and upload them to YouTube each time so that way I can just access them in YouTube itself. Okay. I'm going to pause. We've only got 4 minutes left. So what questions can I answer about Loom or anything else that we've talked about today before we kind of close out this webinar? All right. I don't see any questions popping in right now. Just a quick note, I want to remind you that if for whatever reason none of these options work for you, there's a question. Can you set the privacy of the videos in Loom? Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my sample video again. So again, that underneath your copy link, you have some privacy settings here. So you can change this to either only accessible with the link or public, meaning that people can search for your videos. So I would keep it on link sharing. You can even add a password so that even if you share the link with somebody, they have to have the password to see your video. So that's the easy way to set the privacy of those videos on Loom. And then how do I send it to YouTube? Yes, so I would download the video first. It's going to take just a second. It's a short video, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, and while that's downloading, I already have my YouTube open, so I'll go to my YouTube. Okay, again, you want to make sure that you're logged in with your teachers.fwisd.org account. And then you're just going to hit that little plus button that's inside of the little camera and upload video. And here it comes. Okay, you'll get this option, so you can either select it. This file will be in your downloads, or because it's at the bottom of my screen right now, like I can see that download preview there, I can actually just drag. So I'm going to click and drag right inside of my drag and drop window here. So that's typically what I do. If I just downloaded it, I can click that download preview in my bottom left-hand corner and drag it. And now I get those prompts to give my video some information there. So hopefully that answered your question, Sapit. Again, I think we actually have an EdTech video about how to upload to YouTube, but I'll make one too. That way I can include that. So it's looking like these slides are going to come later today because I'm going to add lots of things to them in the meantime, but I can certainly add that information in those slides. Okay, I'm going to go back here. And what I was just saying before I stopped for that question, in Zoom or Google Meet, as a reminder, you can record those meetings and you have the option of sharing your screen. So if you, for whatever reason, can't get any of these options to work, or you just don't feel comfortable with them, you always have the option of just taking that recording from your Zoom or your Google Meet meeting and sharing that out with your students. So you could start a Meet or a Zoom with nobody in it, just yourself. You could turn on the recording feature and you could do your entire lesson that way. So you could record, you know, everything you needed to do on Classroom Screen. It's recording all of this along with your audio. And so when you finish, your recording could be shared back with your students, either through YouTube or uploaded to Google Classroom or whatever else. So that's another option that's always there for you, just if you're familiar with those tools instead of some of the other ones. Okay. All right, so it is 9:59. I am going to stop, aside from answering individual questions, of course. Here is the link to our webinar attendance form. Today in particular, it's super important that you fill that out if you want access to these slides. I don't have a record of who attended my webinars unless you fill out that form. So I don't know that you have been here. um, Even though I see my participant list, I'm not writing them down, and I don't pay for Zoom, so I don't have that feature to download my participant list. So please make sure that you have filled out this webinar attendance form. And then, like I said, I will email all of you later on today when these slides are ready to share, so that you have all of those resources available to you. Okay. And then once you have completed that link, unless you have further questions, of course, feel free to stay and I'll answer them for as long as you need. But otherwise, you are welcome to go about your day. I hope that I will see some of you at 2 o'clock today. We have a repeat today of creating interactive assignments using Google Slides part 2 at 2 o'clock today.